Howdy from my front porch. Notice I've got my cowboy hat on. Not just my cowboy hat, I've also got, let me see if I can do this without injuring myself, but I'm also wearing my cowboy boots. See, aren't they nice looking boots? Oh man, I used to be able to move a little easier like this when I was just a smidgen younger, But the reason I'm all cowboyed up is because I had the opportunity this weekend to do something that I honestly was surprised that I got to do. I was surprised isn't even the word. I was shocked. You see, COVID-19 came along and it created problems for every one of us. And now some directly impacted in very, very significant and problematic ways. For me personally, I didn't have to deal with it, COVID-19 personally. I didn't come down with it. And nobody in my immediate sphere circle contracted it. But you go one or two notches out, and yeah, there were people impacted by that. But even if you weren't directly impacted by the disease, by the virus of COVID-19, every single one of us was impacted in some way by the effects of COVID-19. The shutdowns, the restrictions, and a lot of it falls in the category of what we call first world problems. The things that really aren't that important in the greater scheme of things, but we still whine about them. Now, there were a lot of impacts of those things that were very serious for a lot of people, and I'm not trying to make light of that. I'm not demeaning that at all. But what I'm going to talk about today is definitely in that category of the first world problems. So one of the things that happened was, large events that people would attend didn't happen. All got canceled. And so for someone like me, the impact was I didn't get to sing National Anthem like I love to do because there wasn't any place to sing it. There were no iCup games to sing it at. There was no state fair this year for me to sing it at. And there were no events at Wells Fargo Arena. Now, I had sang for the Iowa Wolves basketball team back in the previous calendar year, back in December and around Christmas time frame. And so I'd done some of that. But after the calendar year began, then there were other people scheduled for games, but I was the on-call guy to fill in if somebody canceled out. And then as they get into more tournament play, then maybe I get called in because there's more of a need for some stuff. But you see, by that point in time, COVID starts happening and everything starts getting shut down. And so I didn't get any more opportunity with them. And there were no other event. There was no monster truck rallies, any of that kind of stuff like I sang at last year. And so none of that stuff happened. I wasn't able to do any of that stuff. I was really, really bummed about that. Again, first world problems, totally get it. But I was sad that I didn't get to do that. So then, out of the blue, a couple of days ago, Richard Jones, who's with the Professional Bull Riders, a PBR, he messages me and asks if I would be willing to sing National Anthem for the PBR this weekend. I was like, what? This weekend? And then I'm thinking, does he remember I'm in Des Moines, Iowa? Because I've sang for, he's had me do this the last 3-4 years maybe, as the PBR has come through Des Moines. And I'm always honored to do it every time, but I'm like, does he remember I'm in Des Moines, Iowa? I'm not in some other state that may be doing stuff, because we're not doing anything like this in Iowa. And I confirmed the dates with him, and so here in Des Moines, and he's like, yeah, it's this weekend here in Des Moines. And I said, well, sure, obviously, yeah, absolutely, I'd be interested in doing it. And he goes, which day would you prefer? And I said, well, whatever you want me. I don't know, it doesn't matter to me. Saturday night, Sunday afternoon, I don't care, whatever. And he says, well, how would you like to just do both of them? Yeah, sure, yes. But then I'm like, okay, still I'm skeptical that we're on the same page. So I actually went out to Google and I looked up Wells Fargo Arena, and I'm looking, and sure enough, here's the PBR tour right there on it. However, it's there and it has a lot of restrictions around social distancing. Tickets are going to be very sparse, and where you sit, you're going to have this bubble of empty seats all around you. Everybody has to wear masks. They have new restrictions about what you can bring in and all kinds of stuff like that. And so it's like, okay, well, I can see this. But so basically, this is going to be the first thing back at Wells Fargo, big at the Wells Fargo Arena, big like this. And I'm being asked to sing the national anthem to kick them off. Yes, yes, of course I want to do this. And so I had the opportunity to go do that. It gives me opportunity to wear the cowboy hat and the cowboy boots because, I could wear them anytime, obviously. However, for me personally, it'd look a little weird the rest of the time. But if I'm going to a rodeo event, this looks pretty, I'm okay. So I had the honor to get to do that. I was very, very excited about it, and I was thrilled that they asked me again to do that, and I hope I get opportunities again in the future to do it again as well. But it was a great time. I always enjoyed it. Now I did take video, and I'm going to insert them in here so that you're able to experience some of this. Now the first thing I'm going to insert is the video of me singing the national anthem, because that's what I'm just talking about. So here, now I am going to say there were two videos that were shot. One video was by Lisa, my girlfriend, and she and her daughter and some of her daughter's friends went with me Friday night. And then today I went with had my sister Tony and her husband Dave, and then my friend Steve Roberts, Pizza Steve from up in Pi 5, and his wife and one of their friends. They went with me. Lisa videoed it last night, did a great job. And then today, Tony, my sister, videoed it. Although I gave her my work phone, I didn't think to do that with Lisa, but it didn't matter. Her phone's fine. It's fine for that. But for the purposes of this show, I need the video really like this. And I haven't had the conversation. I haven't given the instructions to Lisa yet that she's got to turn her phone sideways, because everybody just is used to filming stuff, upright. I don't know why, but of course for doing this show, I have to have it sideways. I have to have it this way, not because see, when I go this way, you can't even see my hands. But it's so I'm going to use the video from today because Tony, I did think not only to give her the phone, but to emphasize to her about to turn it sideways. But I kind of wish that I was using the one from Friday night, because I think that one was better, honestly. I think I sounded better. I think this one I sound a little, not real excited. Which you'll probably disagree. You'll probably say it's fine. But anyway, I'm going to show this one. I also want you to watch, though, at the very end. Watch me. Watch where the spotlight is as I leave. Just watch. You'll see what I mean.
And now to sing our national anthem, the talented voice of Mr. Paul Smith.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Okay, so now there you go. That was me doing the national anthem. And did you notice the spotlight, how it followed me all the way out? Now you might say, well, that was because it was darker and they wanted to make sure that you were able to see your way out. But they didn't do that Friday night. There was no spotlight on me Friday night. So it was just today. Now, I don't know if somebody different was running the spotlight. I don't know if somebody said, oh, hey, you really should have kept the spotlight on one. I don't know about any of that. I choose to think it's because, well, now that I've done it twice, and both times they introduced me by saying is being performed by the talented voice of Paul Smith, that by the saying of the person on the spotlight likes this guy, he's a celebrity. Let's follow him, keep him in the spotlight all the way out. That's what I choose to believe. Now, I did have somebody yesterday, Friday night, I had somebody at one of the concession stands later on in the event come up to me and say, hey, good job with the National Anthem. It's like, whoa, well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. I was shocked that they even recognized me. I like that. Today, I didn't have anybody, to me personally, but my sister Tony said that a guy behind her complimented that I sang it straight. They didn't add in all the flowery Whitney Houston stuff, which I hate. I can't stand anyway, which I appreciate as well. Now, I don't know how he knew to make that comment. I suspect maybe my sister actually made a point of telling everybody around that that's my brother. So I don't know. But whatever the case may be, that's neither here nor there. The point is, I'm glad people appreciated it. Now, you probably have noticed also I have this orange band on. See, that ties in with what was another one of the things. Now, you notice in the video of me doing the National Anthem, all the empty seats. That is not a reflection on the diminishing popularity of the PBR. What it is a reflection on the limited number of seats and the restrictions that were put in place for social distancing, which were pretty elaborate restrictions. I got 6 tickets for each show, and the 6 tickets I got were in groups of 2 at a time, and there were 2 people in this row in these seats, and the other 2 people were in a whole different row, like 2 or 3 rows away in different seats, and then the other 2 people are in yet a whole nother different row and a whole nother area and a whole nother grouping of seats. And so all of these, that was just my 6. And so you can imagine that on the whole scale of the whole arena, how bizarre that was. But what this is saying I got my temperature checked. Now, attendees didn't have to check their temperature, but because I was going to be wandering around backstage, interacting potentially with the writers, with staff members, and all that kind of stuff, I had to have an official temperature check on Friday so that they could verify that I was not, that I wasn't sick, that I wasn't carrying something. And so, so there you go. That's my orange band to verify that. But I wanted to insert to also insert here. For those who may not have seen, I've done this before when we've talked about the bull riding event, but for those who haven't been to one, I want to insert here for you just a couple of short clips of some of the bull riding things. Now, let me preface this by saying, again, if you've not been to a bull riding event, the goal is for the rider to stay on the bull for a minimum of 8 seconds. And there were a lot of riders who could not do that. Some heartbreakingly close, literally like 7.92 and stuff like that. But no, it's got to be the full 8 seconds. There were a lot of them that were less than 2 seconds, and boom, they're off. So I'm not including any of those, but I am going to include a couple of examples of some bull riders who did the whole 8 seconds, and this is how it's done. So enjoy some of these clips.
Right here, 6. Let's go.
Okay, so then also I wanted to point out to you that where we were sitting, we could look down into the pins where the bulls were located. And that was fascinating in and of itself as well. Because, you know, it's one thing to talk about the riders and how great the riders are. And that's fantastic. That they do that. They say, here's this rider, he's got this record, so-and-so, blah, blah, blah. But what is also cool about the PBR is they do the same thing with the bulls. The bulls are not just a tool, just an implement. They are legitimate stars of the tour as well. And so you'll hear them say, here's rider so-and-so, here's his record, blah, 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 and he's riding bull so-and-so, and their record is blah, 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 blah. And they actually put up on the board, you know, does this what this bull's record has been, how many riders, you know, what is their percentage of bucking people off? And there's some of them that are 100%. Nobody has ridden this bull yet successfully. And so, you know, it's interesting to see some of those stats too, but I also just think it's interesting to see how the bulls are treated. Yes, they are part of the show. Yes, they're part of that. But even when they're doing, I did not see any mistreatment, and I don't just mean out in the arena, but because where we're sitting, we're able to look down into where the bulls are penned in, waiting to come out. There's no funny business going on there. There's no inappropriate things that being done to these bulls to get them worked up right now. There are a couple of them that didn't need any help. They were already, there was one that kept trying to climb up. I kept trying to get video of him, but he'd stop just as I get my phone out to do it. But it's like he kept trying to climb up and jump into the pen of the other bull across from him. I think they were having issues. I think they were having words. But whatever the case was, I want to give kudos to the PBR folks because, like I said, I'm not the traditional animal rights advocate, but I do believe animals should be treated with respect and with dignity, and the PBR does seem to do that with the bulls who are part of this tour as well, and like I said, treating them as equals. They brag about the rider and their record, and they also brag about the bull and their record, and looking out for them equally as co-entertainers, if you will, in the event. So anyway, that was my experience with the PBR 2020, and I just was thrilled that it was happening and that I got to be a part of it again. A small part, a little minute and a half part, but still, I was thrilled to be part of it. I was deeply honored to get to do the National Anthem again. Felt really good. And I do hope that there'll be more opportunities before the calendar year's up, but we'll see. And with that, y'all, I'll see you next time from my front porch.